Hi, I'm Melissa from SoGoSurvey, and if you're thinking about launching your first customer satisfaction survey, it's probably about time. Let's take a closer look at some of the steps that you'll need to follow and best practices to keep in mind as you launch your first or next customer satisfaction survey. Let's dive in. Customer satisfaction is always a critical question, but if you don't have any metrics to back yourself up, it's very hard to know how well you're doing, and of course, if any of your improvement efforts make a difference in a measurable way. We'll take a look starting with the rationale for customer satisfaction survey, a quick template that we have in our template bank for SoGoSurvey as well, best practices, a report in the results section, and then some advanced options. First of all, the rationale. As I just said, if you don't know how you're doing, how can you possibly hope to improve? If we're looking at customer satisfaction, it's just one of many metrics that could be included in the broader scope of CX. When you're looking at a consistent customer satisfaction question, that allows you to answer the same question across different customer experiences through different time periods, touch points, or different populations or groups that you're trying to study. So having that consistent question is really, really important. A metric question, in this case customer satisfaction, as well as open-ended questions, can help you get a good balance of both quantitative and qualitative analysis. Taking a quick look at the template, of course, it's a very, very simple template. That's why it's called the Simple Customer Satisfaction Survey. First question, of course, is a 5-point rating scale asking for please rate your overall level of satisfaction with, of course, whatever it is or whoever you are. Once the participant selects a point on that scale, a follow-up question is displayed. We call it Question Display Logic, or QDL. For a positive rating, satisfied or very satisfied, we want to show a follow-up question. Frame it positively. We're happy to hear what makes you choose this rating. Of course, it's not an appropriate follow-up question if someone chooses a negative or even neutral follow-up question. It's going to be something more like, sorry that it wasn't as good as we hoped. What can we do to improve? So making those questions actionable rather than anything else or why is that gives you an opportunity for some, again, actionable insights. And of course, you want a thank you message at the end here, letting people know if they have any additional follow-up or any questions, they can reach out to you as well. So the continued conversation is a really important element there. So some best practices to keep in mind. This first question, as I'm mentioning here, the metric question of customer satisfaction is perfect, but only if you're measuring actually customer satisfaction. If loyalty is what you're trying to measure, consider Net Promoter Score. That's how likely is it that someone is to recommend your services or your brand. Effort score is also a really great one. We'll have a different conversation on that, of course, too, but the idea here is how easy do you as a company make it for customers to get what they need done? So that's customer effort score. So if either of those sound more appropriate, do choose a different metric question. Or it could be a totally different scale here as well, too. So make sure, of course, you're actually trying to measure satisfaction. One, obviously, please do customize the name of your brand or product. Be as specific as possible. If you are talking about just a specific product or just a specific experience, that does help us to understand and the customers to understand as well. Make a beautiful brand here. Of course, you have spent a lot of time on your own style guide, the right hex codes, the right frames, the right fonts, everything that you want here. Do make sure that it's customized. It's an engagement that you have with your customers, so you want it to be on par with all of the other marketing or other materials that your customers see from your team. Also, distribution is really, really important. A great way to do this is, of course, identifying the touch points, a specific interaction. It could be a sale is closed or a product has been purchased or a maintenance request was completed. So any of those things that are key touch points, being able to say, basically, how satisfied are you with us following the specific situation? If you do decide to add multiple questions, it's not impossible. It's totally fine. Just make sure they are critical questions in the same conversation. They're not random, out of nowhere. They do deliver those insights. Save those sort of nice to have for personal conversations, focus groups, more in-depth interviews, or a totally different, more in-depth survey at some point down the road. When you are looking at results, of course, we want to know that overall metric question. Of course, because it's this kind of a question, we can see the frequency, as well as being able to see the score, the customer satisfaction score as well too. You want to see the trend, anything that you want to track on that big one. Of course, we do always hope that number is going up based on the trend that we're following. And those open-ended responses. So the positive ones, you can of course do some analysis of the open-ended responses for the positive as well as the negative. So you can read them one by one. You can do open-ended response analysis as well too, and we'll come back to a few more options there. Which brings us to advanced options. So when you are thinking about how you're going to actually use these results, think about what is most important for you. If you are looking at account types, products, different locations, if those are important, those key segments, consider adding those additional questions and hiding the questions. When you hide the questions and pre-fill answers with data population, that allows you to keep that additional information in your report without actually asking your customers those questions. So it's really good data quality. It allows you to, instead of just looking at one big pie chart, for example, you can look at the comparison across different products or across different locations. So more information gives you more powerful results. But again, don't slow your participants down by asking them lots of questions, especially if you already know the answers. Touch points, we've already mentioned, that's a really great way to do it. And also, as you're thinking about those touch points, think about the processes that you have in place right now, the workflows. If you're sending automated messages through your CRM or anything like that, pushing data into Salesforce, pulling information, pulling lists, all of those kinds of integrations can really save a lot of time. Some of those, of course, are native integrations. Some of those are APIs that you might be building. But really start to think about the customer's entire experience with you and the best way to streamline that data flow. Another one, too, of course, in our customer experience platform, SoGoCX, we do, of course, have a dashboard for those metrics as well, too. So you can see the trend over time. You can see any of the rest of those pieces. And, for example, how is customer satisfaction doing in correlation to other metrics as well, too? Effort, of course, loyalty, satisfaction, these are all related concepts, but they're certainly not the same thing. So if you'd like to start with this, of course, you can start up with a free template, a free trial. You literally have nothing to lose, and you have quite a bit to gain. So please do, if you have questions, reach out to us. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today about customer satisfaction. We look forward to connecting with you again soon. In the meantime, reach out to us on social media at SoGoSurvey or visit our website, SoGoSurvey.com. See you next time.